Good morning, early birds. How are you? I know. Looks like she just came out of the jungle. What's going on here? It's been a while. It's been a while since I've worn my leopard. It's been a while since you bought it, too. It's been a while since it's been in style. Who are you, early birds? Some kind of fashionistas? Seriously? How do you know when leopard was most popular? How do you know it's not right now? How do you know that? I don't think you do. Thanks for joining me, early birds. What day are we on today? Who can believe it? We were supposed to be gone a long time ago. They were like, X that teacher. Get her out of there. She's teaching those kids some good stuff they might be able to use. And she's always yelling. 8:30 in the morning and she's already yelling. What is going on here? What's in her blood? Wouldn't you like to know? Look it! I spent a little time being a little artistic for our day. 102 in the classroom. 102. Remember we were learning about, just as a reminder, placeholders, right? Why do we have to or place values, not placeholders, but place values, right? This is a placeholder. One is holding a place for what? For what value? 100s, right? 100s. So you don't look at a number and say 102 and think it's just 1, 0, and 2. That's not what it is. Okay, I know it's 102. I know that. I know it's 102. But it's not 1, 0, and 2. That'd be 3. When we have 102 days, do you think we want people thinking we had 3 days? No, of course not. Not at all. 102 days. So placeholder 100s. Here are our 10s. How many 10s do we have? That's a little confusing. How many 10s do we have? It's not confusing, Dr. Feravich. You just say it's confusing to make us feel better. All right, whatever. 0. 0 in the 10s, right? 0 in the 10s. How many in the 1s? 2 in the 1s. 102 days. Aren't we proud of ourselves? We sure are. We are. We can be proud of ourselves. We don't need to have a fear of hubris, a fear of too much pride. Not at 102 days. We have a rightful amount of pride. That's for sure. Okay, folks, let's get started. What are we doing? Now, I want to remind you that I am telling you we are on day 3 of our citizens, global citizens, right? So if you look at our title says day 3 at the bottom. But here in this classroom, we've only had 2 days on global citizenship, right? Yesterday was our first day in our early birds classroom. Today's our second day in the early bird classroom. Our first day on this book was in the classroom, engaging a healthy mind, body, spirit. We started this for our 100-day celebration last Wednesday, day 100. So on day 100, you'll find us starting to read Global Citizenship in our classroom, engaging a healthy mind, body, spirit. See how I do that? See how I do that? See how I do that? Get you to watch another classroom. I know. It's always a battle. You're always selling something, for Pete's sake. Let's go. And who's Pete? I'm thinking it's Peter, who denied Christ 3 times. Hello. Don't forget, we're starting our Christmas series, which is we're learning more about the Santa Claus, the Saint Claus. We're going to call it the Saint Claus, which has everything to do with global citizenship. Everything to do with it. It doesn't have anything else to do with anything else, except for our Bookless classroom as well. So history, we're gonna go down Christmas Road. We're gonna do a little DIY psychologist as we're doing all of this, and we're gonna examine what is the Saint Claus, Santa Claus, or Santo Claus. What is it? Of course, they made it feminine, didn't they? You assholes. Sorry, early birds. We try and talk nicer. We don't want, we have to learn to talk nice first before we start using colorful language. And then we call it colorful language, right? We salt and pepper our language. The pepper's a little hot. Your place in your nation. It is important for citizens to know about the history, the past. See, that's in parentheses right there. So it's kind of giving us another idea of what history means. His story? How about my story? How about her story? Way more interesting. Means past. And geography. See that in parentheses again? Those 2 marks like this. Like quotes. Or like happy faces, bigger than quotes though, right? Or like, dimples, kind of like dimples on both sides, okay? So in parentheses right there, early birds, we see the word place. So geography means place. Look at that, my finger moved in the right direction. It's so hard for me, it is. Okay. It is important for citizens to know about the history, the past, and geography, place, of the nation that they are part of. Nation. Nation is a large number of people living in a country under the same government, right? And remember, we were talking about what a country is, right, compared to what a state is. We talked about that in the Bookless classroom. That was a while ago. That had to be like on probably maybe, I don't even know, probably like on classroom 50, something like that, where we were talking. No, it was probably on classroom 80. In the 70s. What is it? I don't even know. I'm not sure. But what you'll see the picture of is it is a picture that we did this in our Bookless classroom. And we did a slide that's called states. I bet I still have it here. I bet I do. How long is she going to look for it? Let's take some bids on how long she's going to spend looking for it. Look at that. There's our, remember when we learned all about the Civil War? All of this. Oh, no, you don't remember because that was in the Bookless classroom. So, it's not what we wanted to do. I know. Never mind. You know what? I'm going to add it. Just to show you. I just want to show the early birds some of the things that we've done, first of all, because we've done so many things in this classroom, not just in this classroom, but in other classrooms. But also, I always say, how'd she get it? She doesn't have it. She thought she had it, and she doesn't have it. That's because it doesn't keep the link for some reason. I know, I've got the little Oh, let's see here. I just want to just read, Dr. Feravich, just read. Yeah, it was too far. Yeah, I don't have it. Which means that, I'm sorry I did that to you. May just sit over here and watch me look something up that's not even there. So in our Bookless classroom, we do have, but it has to be probably before day 70. So somewhere in the 60s or 50s, we talked about the differences between states and countries. So I spent all that time when I could have told you the difference, and the difference is that states can't make choices all by themselves, that the federal government makes the final choice. All that to say that. I apologize, I do. The history of a nation gives clues about how citizens lived in the past and how society has changed over time. Geography helps locate a place in the world. It provides facts about the country, such as population, climate, government, and how people live. So that's our geography. Geography provides facts about population because it might be mountainous. I know I see snow on the top of mountains, right? So geography is where we live. And our geography tells us something about our population, our climate, our government, and how they live. Excellent. National identity. This is something that's going on in the United States that just is taken a really bad turn. Let's hear what this is about. National identity. Just like a person, a nation also has an identity. Every nation has its own flag and other emblems that show its national identity. So here's our emblem for the United States, right? And we know that the eagle is it's our national bird, and it's part of our emblem, right? We very often see the flag, but we don't often see the emblem. We have an emblem for Michigan as well, don't we? So we have emblems for our nation, we have flags for our nation, and we have flags and emblems for our states as well. This is interesting because that has Britain there. I don't know what these are. I wonder if this is India. I'm going to see if I'm going to quick get my magnifying glass and see if I don't see something up close. Of course, I always start walking very slow, so nothing's very quick. Okay, let's see if we can see. No, I can't. I mean, I can see it. Ike E. Exara Ike. Or key. I don't know what that is. And this one says something in a different language as well. They have a big lion and a palm tree and some bananas and what looks like natives. There's our emblem. I know, you're getting all the other lights in there, aren't you? There, how's that? Oh, better. And then here. Let's see if I can get that with it. There we go. Well, not quite. The lights are right there. There we go. Other way. Okay. So I don't know what countries these are from. But this would obviously be a colony of Great Britain. So I'm thinking it might be India. That was for a long time. I don't know, though. I'm really not that good at that stuff. But I do know where to find it. I do have flags and something. We've got flags in our clip art, don't we? Probably. Flags are displayed on occasions where large groups of people gather, such as school assemblies, sports and cultural events, and memorial days. Emblems are used on buildings and documents that have national importance, such as government buildings or published laws. Another way that a nation identifies itself is through the national anthem. Citizens show their pride in and loyalty to their country by singing the anthem at public events. The national flag and emblems are three nations, the national flags and emblems of three nations of the world from left to right: the United States, South Africa, and Fiji. Flags and emblems are part of a nation's identity. Your place in the... Sometimes, though, this identity, especially here in the United States, overrules our own personal identity. And the nation cannot be a better decision maker, problem solver, moral advocate than a person. A nation can't be greater in morality than the sum of its parts. A nation can't be smarter than the sum of its parts. Right? I think that that's true. It's so interesting because I always say the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. But I do think a nation can only be the sum of its parts, which can include flags and emblems, but mainly people. So what is your nation? Is your nation more important than the people? Think about it. Your place in the world. There are some things that people of the world have in common. Bullet point. They share things in nature, such as air, water, oceans, and polar lands. Yeah, we kind of do share those things, don't we? They belong to a group that is part of a nation and the world, right? So we are one part of the whole world. They belong to a group of... Each nation is part of the global family of nations. Many parents want their children to have lives better than their own. And so they were promised a life better than their own in this new country. And that was a promise that this new country was not planning to keep. They want to live in peace and safety. For sure, all of us want that, right? This is what they're saying. All of us share the same things. What else? Most are concerned about the effect that they have on the environment. Most people are. Some people are not, right? Some people don't care about the environment that much. Why? Because they're making money, or they're building buildings, right? Or they're making oil, refining oil, or they're doing something that makes them money. That's why they don't care about the planet. They care more about the money. Although people share things in common, the world is also a very complex place made up of different environments. That's our world around us, our environment. See our environment today? A little gray. Yesterday it was sunshine, you couldn't see through the window, but today it's gray and you can see through the window and what's out there. That's our environment. Part of it is our weather, right? So there are other things that we don't share. Some of us share them, but not everybody, right? Customs and practices. Remember, we talked about customs back here. The usual way of doing things. Those are our customs, the usual way of doing things. So those usual ways aren't shared by everybody. And practices, what do we practice, right? They're not shared by everybody. Our types of government are not shared by everybody. We say this is a democracy. It's really not. It's capitalistic is what it is. It takes our money and then invests it for rich people in Wall Street. Blah. Religions, we don't all share the same religion. Languages, we don't all share the same language, although it is nice that everybody does speak English for me. It's nice for me because I try and speak a little Spanish. They call it Spanglish. I don't think it's Spanglish. Spanglish is a combination of Spanish and English in one single word, not combining the two in the language. Although it couldn't be. Sure it is. Types of families. So our types of families, remember we talked about our types of family as being traditional or nuclear, extended family, single parent families, and blended families. Look at that great picture of that family there. Who wouldn't want to be that family right there? Gorgeous. Gorgeous family. My family looks more like her. We're a little browner than that family. Levels of wealth and well-being of people. So our levels of wealth is the amount of money and resources that a person or country has. So we have a lot of resources here in the United States. So we're a very wealthy country, but our people are not. And that is the shame of this country. It is your shame, as in shame on you, country runners. Well-being. Well-being is the situation of being happy, healthy, and comfortable, right? Well-being has to do with your body is healthy, your mind is healthy, and so is your soul or your spirit is healthy as well. And it's important that many of these differences exist. They are part of the world's diversity. Diversity is the range of different things, a range of different things, right? So diversity in hair color would be brown, blonde, red, pink, purple, black, right? That is diversity. What is diversity? Diversity is the range of different things. Diversity of teas, right? You could have black tea, you could have pomegranate tea, you could have Earl tea, you could have breakfast tea, you could have peach flavored tea, you could have all kinds of different teas. That's diversity in tea. We hear a lot about diversity training, right? And diversity trainers. Those really are low-level psychologists, ways that they could pay men more money and diss smarter women. Diversity specialists. Look for them at your local university. But it is also important to help improve the things that are harmful to the environment and to other people. Global citizens are aware and active. They help improve life on the earth by reducing the destruction of the natural environment. I'm going to say that again. Reducing the destruction of the natural environment, right? So activists, global citizens, what do we do? What do we do? What do we do? I want to be a global citizen. What do I do? I reduce the destruction of the natural environment. Looks like we're destroying over there. They knocked down every single tree to build those two homes. Every single tree on the property. And I was vocal about it. I was vocal. Why? Why do you care what they are doing? Because I'm a global citizen. That's why. And as a global citizen, I make sure and I pay attention and I point my finger when people are unnecessarily destroying the natural environment. There was no reason that they needed to knock down every single tree over there. And they heard my big mouth about it. They sure did. They sure did. What else do we do to improve the life on earth? We work to help all people have a fair and comfortable life. We all help for the well-being. So when they released this COVID into the environment, their COVID operation, they were reducing well-being. So in this last thing that they're talking about as global citizens, the second point, working to help all people have a fair and comfortable life, we're working towards well-being. Well-being is a healthy mind, a healthy body, and a healthy soul, a healthy spirit. Global citizens make sure that people in charge that have all the power and the money are not destroying everything so that they could keep their power and their money. That's why I'm talking. That's why I'm reading this book. That's why. Because I am tired of doing it alone. I'm tired of yelling at these people who are so rich. And then they sit over there and say, no socialism or no other way to run your government except for give me your tax dollars and we'll get rich on your money in Wall Street. Oh, okay. I'm sorry, land of milk and honey. You told me I was what? What'd they do? Give you a bunch of apples when they brought you in? Is that what they did? Apples all over the place? Can't get enough apples over there? Apples like manna from heaven, isn't it? Apples, manna from heaven. Have so many GD apples, I'm puking apples. What the heck? Is that what they give you when they bring you into the country? Sell these. We'll see how you can sell these. And then we'll see if we'll give you enough money for a store. Let's see how you can sell these when everybody 2 feet and 2 feet and 2 feet over are all selling the same apples. Let's see what a salesperson you turned out to be. I didn't read down here. What can I do? We were introduced to all the global citizens here. This is Harry. I want to know more about the history and geography of my country. I'll do some research in the library and on the internet. I'll also talk to Grandpa. He knows a lot. That's actually a really good idea, Harry. That's a really good idea, to talk to somebody who's been living in your area for a long time. What if you moved to a new place and you found the oldest citizen, the longest living citizen in the place where you live, and you went and you did an interview of that person to say, hey, I'm doing this for a school project. Make it a school project. Hey, guess what? I'm the teacher. Who's your teacher? What's your teacher's name? Dr. Feravich. You can find her online. In her 102 class, when I was in class, in her early bird classroom, she asked us to interview somebody who had lived in our area for a long, long time. There you go. It's for a school project. In my early bird classroom. You can tell them that too if you want to. If they want more information. See, no nuclear testing. No to all uranium mining. Hiroshima, never again. So here we have our global activists. Now, we do know nuclear energy has disastrous effects, right? When there are people who are in power running it, because they want disastrous effects. They do. They really, really do. There are people in power that want to stay in power, and what they are really doing is they're reducing the well-being of this nation in particular, the United States of America in particular. My guess is they're moving to Australia too, aren't they? And trying to control that. And then what are they doing? They're moving in the direction of, I already heard it. I heard somebody say, they literally said, destroy Soviets so they can dominate Soviet Union and then move into China. The unfortunate thing for the United States has been, probably not for the rest of the world, is that China and the Soviets are teaming up to not allow full world domination from the United States. Crazy, crazy, crazy. People in charge wanting full domination when they have dominated this planet to its destruction. Yeah, let's pick that person. Let's pick that person and see how long. Did you see my LinkedIn pictures? 9 pictures over there on LinkedIn of the scars that we have on our planet. You think you can't destroy Earth? You think Earth can just shake people off? Not if we keep that nuclear testing. Oh, it was North Korea? Yeah, I don't think so. And nor was it Japan, who went in and did 20 to 80,000 killings of those Chinese, and somehow we were being prosecuted. We were defendants in that. We were defending Japan. Oh, I'm sorry. What we were doing is we were keeping our name out of it. We know. We absolutely know. And you think the whole world doesn't know, and the whole world also knows. Ugh. Okay. The rights of citizens. Rights are the things that people are entitled to as part of living in a community. Some of the basic rights of citizens are freedom of speech and movement. I can say what I want, and I can move around the planet the way that I want it. Seems like that right has been taken away from me. I cannot move freely around the planet. Just saying. Watch your rights get destroyed, one after the other. Oh, I'm sorry, is that capitalism? All right, I'll sit back and keep my mouth shut and just let you go about your business. Not freedom, not being controlled by others. That's a good definition, isn't it? Freedom, not being controlled by others, so I can have my own thoughts and I can move around the way that I want to without somebody inside my brain trying to control me, or somebody in my environment like Amazon shoving a million ads in my face to control me, or Google doing the same thing, or Google taking away all of our in the moment views of the earth because you don't want us to see what you're doing. See how we become global citizens? We use our minds and we really think things through. Now, sometimes we don't care about that. Maybe that's not the thing I'm interested in as a global citizen. Maybe I really love the water and the ocean and dolphins. So that's where I'm going to what I'm going to worry about. I'm not going to worry about the pine trees or the forest on fire. It's not that I don't care about it. It's I decided to be a global citizen, and in being a global citizen, I decided to work with dolphins. You know I don't work with dolphins. I was just saying that as an example. You know I work with people. I'm a teacher. So rights are the things that people are entitled to as part of living in a community. Some of the basic rights of citizens are, now remember, not everybody has these same rights though. Some countries don't give people these rights. And here in the United States, we say you have the rights. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. Perception is everything, isn't that right, Bill Maher? Some of the basic rights of citizens are to be protected from harm. The cops around here have not been doing that at all. And that's what the cops are for. That's what the sheriff's department is for. Sheriff's department is there to protect people from harm. I had dead birds all over my property and they didn't even care about that. So we have to be global citizens because it seems to me that there's a lot of criminals who are pointing their fingers at other people saying, you're a criminal, you're not doing your job. So that people aren't noticing these sheriffs over here are not doing their job. The police are not doing their job. We see that all the time, right? Oh, I'm a cop, but I have the thin blue line. So I'm a different kind of cop than you. Oh, really? Are you a G-man? You a government man? Is that what you are, a G-man? Maybe that's the reason why people who went and fought for our country got such backlash when they came back. Not because of the people who fought, the young people who fought and died, but because of those G-men. Oh, I'm sorry. What else is there a G of? Oh, are you the G-men? Are you the G-men? What'd you discover? Another disgusting thing? Is that what you discovered? Something else that was disgusting? To live comfortably, these are basic rights of citizens. To elect the members of the country's government. Here, elect, to choose someone for a position by voting. I'm starting to rethink, because of our whole system, what our government should be doing for the people. And if we had a moral, upstanding government, it would allow people to be able to do what they wanted without having to worry about it, right? If we said you can't vote or you don't have to vote, and then we had, haphazard turnout of voting, I think what we need is we need small communities to decide who's going to end up going to Congress eventually, right? So that's where they vote locally. They vote locally. And what the federal government oversees is that those local elected officials are moral and just in doing their job. And if a community gets together and elects somebody who is not moral or just, that community loses their right to vote another person in for a period of, 5 years, maybe, I would say, right? That's your punishment for not being well aware that you were voting in somebody who is criminal. I think that's the way that it needs to work here in this country. Yeah. So you vote in people that are local that I wouldn't know. But if you vote somebody in who's criminal and you somehow get a bad apple in our system of justice, your community will not be allowed to vote somebody in for 5 years. That's the consequence. That's your punishment. Pay attention. You will not get in bad people in our government without having some kind of repercussions. And that's what happened here. That's what happened. We had communities who wanted more money, so they screwed the system. That's not take advantage of. That's not really what I'm looking for. But they took advantage of the system is what they ended up doing in order for them to get theirs. All this entitlement, mainly from rich white people, entitlement, because they're getting theirs and they want to keep theirs. That's where the entitlement is. I'm getting mine. That's the entitlement. I'm getting mine. And you are getting yours. You don't worry about it. I'm seeing to that. Clean slate. You're all out. All of you are out. This is what's going to happen when we change government. We've been saying it for a long time. I have some ideas. I have some plans, right? Like I said, you have to have a democracy. I couldn't know who's locally best to come into Congress, but you make a mistake, you lose your right. So don't make a mistake. Don't send me a piece of Don't send me a piece of crap. If you do, you lose your right to decide, and then I'll go to your community and decide who will represent you. I'll do that. Oh, I will. I have a way to clean house. As evidenced by my, pretty clean house and yard. Whew, looks good. Looks good. Don't believe what they're telling you. It looks good. To own property, to have their own religion or special beliefs, to work and be paid fairly, to be treated equally by the people and laws of the country. Democracies usually give all these rights to their citizens. So and here we have a vote. Here these people are voting on election day in a democracy. So they all get to vote. We need to have a democracy. We know that. We've been spreading democracy around the globe as if we're dictators. I know, kind of doesn't make any sense, does it? But we've been doing that. Take it! Take this democracy, I said. Other people have religious beliefs. Other people have other beliefs. But there is likely, just like doing the dishes or cleaning your house, there is likely a single system for the whole world that works better, that allows for your religious beliefs and allows for order. Is she talking about a new world? What? Is she New World Order? I know, early birds, this is just a little bit above your head, just a little bit. But why did I decide to read this Global Citizenship to my early birds? Why did I decide that? Well, the reason why I decided that is because I feel like if you get these ideas right inside your heart when you're young, you'll always have them in your heart. If you don't get them in your heart when you're young, you know what's going to happen? Not that you can't get them in your heart when you're older, but here's the problem. You have something else in your heart. If you didn't get the ideas of being a global citizen in your heart when you're younger, what you did was you got something else in your heart instead. So can you get the idea of being a global citizen in your heart when you're older? Yes, you can. But it's likely going to replace something that's already been in your heart. So if what's been in your heart has been, revenge, entitlement, getting the most, then you probably have room for change, right? Not always easy to do, not always easy to change. Children have special rights. Children are important because they will take their ideas and actions into the future. Children need care and protection so that they can grow into good citizens. Many countries give young people some extra rights because of their age and inexperience. Some of these children's rights are the right to love, understanding, and a family group in which to live, the right to play freely, the right to go to school until they are about 15 years old, the right to be paid for part-time work, the right to be protected from adults who want to harm or exploit them. What is to exploit? To use selfishly and for personal gain. What we see going on here in the United States is a violation of these children's rights. That, again, lawyers are getting around not having to give children their rights. So let me give you an example. We've got parents who are homeschooling their children now. And in the off hours, these parents are getting their children to do activities that are actually making the family money. So, for example, they might make nice jewelry and sell it in a local store. They might make soaps, for example, and sell them in a local store. So this is a nice, wonderful thing for people to be able to do who are worried about making their own living and their own family and their own rights. But then, as the book said, rights are complex, right? Countries and their needs are complex. So this is how the issue gets to be complex. We've got now kids who are making soaps for their families. And if their families begin to depend on that income, then how much might those families work those children? They have the right to work part-time and get paid for it. They have the right to not work. Children have a right to not work and mainly get an education. And they have a right to not work excessively. So it's not the right for part-time work and to get paid for that. That's not actually the right. This is misstated in this book. You have the right to not work. We cannot put children to work for us, period. Not even part-time work. We can't put children to work for us. We call that slave labor. And it may be one of the reasons why we see families being split, children being taken away from their families. It's a new form of slavery that we haven't been paying attention to in this country. Actually, it's not a new form of slavery. It's a form of slavery that we haven't been paying attention to in a while. Child labor. We have child labor laws. And it does mean that parents can't be using their kids for their family income simply because they're homeschooled. If your parent is using you for slave labor, be sure that you look out, parents, look out. You think I'm not on to you? Oh, we're sure your parents love you. Guess what? I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure. Not here in this country, I'm not so sure. The way that you shift children from one family to the next. No, not so sure at all that you love children in this country. And my good eye is on you. My really good eye is on you. I'm not sure which one it is. Could be a tuber. Who knows? Could be one of those eyes, right? This is Dr. Annette Feravich. We are here in the early birds. We're taking a little bit of a jump. We're expanding your minds into what? Into global citizenship in our early bird classroom. I'm the teacher. Thanks for joining me here in the classroom.